Hello everyone. Today we are here with Mr. Yugang Chaturvedi, Director General of CPJ College, Narela. Hi sir, how are you?
Very fine, Mr. Udit. A good noon to you.
Thank you
you
so
so
much.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. So before we start the interview, I would need few words of who are you and in which position are you in right now?
Yeah, as you said, I'm Yugang Chaturvedi, presently officiating as Director General of CPJ College of Higher Studies and School of Law at Narela, Delhi. The college is affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University and is running courses, undergraduate courses, 3-year degree program in BBA, BBA CAM, BCA and BCom honors, and 5-year integrated courses in law, that is BA LLB and BBA LLB, approved by the Bar Council of India. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. So now we'll start with the questionnaire.
Yes.
The question 1 is, you have held key positions throughout your professional career. What are the key factors that keep you connected with the education sector?
I would say that when it comes to education is a big word in itself, like it's a big canvas. So like it's not just that academics and learning academics is called education. As the verb goes by itself, educating oneself. Every day is an education to anybody. Whatever that you learn in any day that passes, that is educating you. So your education keeps on, and from the theoretical aspect of looking at the word education, which is towards learning or gaining qualifications, educational qualifications, that's okay. There's a particular age span in which you do that, but post that, I think so. Learning and educating yourself is a lifelong phenomena, and I believe in the same. So, like I've always been very strongly connected with the education sector. Earlier as a student and post when I was working with corporates, when I was having my own organization and as an entrepreneur, and post that when I've been associated for the last 9 years with CPJ College, very closely associated with the education industry. And of course, it gives me, I would say, immense, pleasure to be associated with this industry, because it's just not that you keep imparting, but you keep learning simultaneously too. Yeah.
Greatly said, sir. Now we head over to the question number 2. Being the Director General of CPJ College, what is your philosophy of leadership? How would you describe your leadership style?
I would say that leading by example is what is leadership. Leadership is not that you stand and you are just directing. If as it said that you need to practice something before you preach it. So any leader can be a leader only if he or she is well conversant with anything and everything that he tries to be understood and be followed by his followers. So if you be leading an institution, an educational institution, you should be very, very clear about anything and everything, right from A to Z, about the academic programs, about how the things are to be run, about the well-being and the growth of your faculties, anything and everything you can say, right from a peon or a security guard or a gardener of your institution up to the management, the highest level. You need to be understanding that where does your leadership come into play its role. And this is where it's so important to understand that how well you are able to define it and you are able to go ahead with it. And as I said, leading by example, this I've always followed in my life. It's not that, you immediately get into action and immediately, I feel the followership is always very strong when you lead by example. So this is my philosophy of being a leader, is that you need to lead by example. This is what, yeah.
Greatly said, sir. Now we head over to the question number 3. Being the Director General of CPJ College, how do you strategize about your key programs and plans for the marketing and administration of your school?
As I said, leading an institution, being the Director General of CPJ College and leading the college and making it taste glory and success, it's going to be a complete teamwork. And when you say that, how do you strategize yourself? Naturally, the strategy has to be wherein it's a complete team who is, being led by the leader, but definitely anybody and everybody is very well conversant with one's role and responsibility in the system. The moment the roles and responsibilities of anybody is well defined, I think so, it comes into an auto mode of working. And when everybody is, of course, simultaneously 100%, having the ownership towards it, the moment you are able to create that ownership to your subordinates, you're able to create that feeling of oneness and that team spirit in your system, I think so the system starts running absolutely as you wish it to run. So this is what is my feel is, how do I strategize is that absolutely remaining as the key figure, as the Director General of the college, to kind of guide, to kind of be there, to kind of be next to them in anything and everything. And of course, leading them that how things are to be done. And once it is being implemented, being worked upon, the blueprints are being done in an excellent way. I think so the results are phenomenal then. Yeah.
Very well said, sir. Question number 4. Any insights into how your college could be more welcoming to the students of different economic backgrounds?
As you are aware of that, we are affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, and all admissions, they take place through a centralized counseling that happens at the university. For the non-law courses, all students have to appear for the common entrance test, which is the CET. And for the law programs, they have to sit for CLAT examination, which is conducted by the Consortium of National Law Universities. So if you look at it, we really do not know that who are the students who would be joining us, very frankly speaking, because whosoever come into the merits, and as per the ranking, they come and they join us through the counseling process. And once we have a batch joining us, it is post that they have joined us that we come to know that, as per the number of students who would be applying for economic welfare schemes, etc., or for concessions in their fee, and such kinds of applications when they pour in, that we're able to understand that, okay, we have X number of students coming from a weaker financial backgrounds. And the college always stands very, very strong to support them. That we have been doing right from day one, and that is our motto, to help any student who is financially not strong, to definitely make him or her stand and be at par and at parity with any other student of the college. We do welcome diversity in the students studying in the college in all respects. And of course, it is but natural by default, nothing by choice. It is by default that you have students who would be coming from different financial and economic backgrounds who would be joining you and comprising a batch year after year. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Question number 5. What do you think your roles and responsibilities are to the college and the students?
I really look at it, the roles and responsibilities as a Director General to the college, it is a wholesome package. Where right from, as I said, right from first year student to final year, third year student of non-law courses or the fifth year student of the law courses, we have a total strength of more than 2,500 students in our college studying. And looking at it with the complete staff, the faculties, the staff members, the non-teaching fraternity, and the support staff, and further to that, all the health staff, etc., it comprises to nothing less than 2,800, I would say. We may be touching 3,000 this year if everything goes well during the COVID times, as I say. So, as I said, it's a wholesome package. You cannot segregate anything in this. It has to be looked at when the roles and responsibilities come. It has to be such that I'm a student. I myself have been a student of economics. So, like, I'm remembered of something called Pareto optimality. which says that a society gets better off only if one person also in the society gets better off without anybody getting worsening off. So this is what is our motto in our roles and responsibilities towards the whole college, that whatever the principles that we adhere to, whatever other things that we adopt, the policy measures, etc., they are to be such, they have to be such that it only brings it only brings the college and the institution up from where it was standing and not going down, which means even if one person benefits in the college as a result of any new policy without not any other person getting de-benefited as a result of it, we are definitely one up. So like all, I would say the roles and responsibilities towards the college in a wholesome way is towards looking towards such practices to be followed where the college only comes to a rising level. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Now the very important question according to the current scenario. The education sector is rapidly moving towards the digital age due to the challenges faced due to COVID situation. How is CPJ College utilizing this change?
Mr. Udit, a very, very relevant question that you have put in, because all other questions, what you said, could have been asked 2 years back also. But that time, this question could have not been there, which you have just asked me. Very frankly speaking, Udit, the colleges were closed with the onset of COVID in India on the 12th, 13th of March last year, 2020, for the students, and in totality from the 19th of March itself. So we are sitting on the 21st of May today, and if you really look at it, it's more than 14 months now, which is a very, very long span. To be very frank with you, the college has, we have really worked very efficiently. It's not just that I'm talking about my college, but CPJ College as a whole has worked really efficiently, very, very effectively towards managing the COVID situation. I would really congratulate and say and salute, and my hats off to the management led by our General Secretary, Mr. Abhishek Jain, who has got an immense foresight. And as a result of that, when the other countries were undergoing the lockdown during the phase of January and February 2020, when it was hitting Italy, France, UK, Germany, in Europe in a very, very strong way, the COVID wave in the 2020 after China, we were somehow skeptical about the fact that in case it hits India, the same situation may happen in India with the kind of population that our country has. And this is what really happened. And we, mentally we started getting ready towards what would we be doing that in case such things happen. In case a lockdown happens in our country too, as it has happened in other countries, what would we be adhering to? How would we adopt to the education, to the learning, to the teaching and all the things? So somehow we were mentally prepared for it. And the moment it happened in March, with the onset of cases in March itself, since we were mentally already prepared for it, within a week's time, if you believe me, within a week's time, like it happened in the second week of March, the colleges were being closed. And in the third week of March itself, 22nd March, precisely 21st, 22nd March, we were already in an online mode of education with our students, wherein all the teachers have been provided with laptops, with web cameras, with mics and everything, so that they can handle teaching from their, from the comfort of their home itself, since coming out was absolutely not there because of the national lockdown. Everything was closed. So we did hold classes through online till date. It's not then all semesters post that till date. It's been happening like that. It's just that you have become now too habitual to that. You become too seasoned to it now. As I'm having it with you, Udit, last year, somebody from College Dunia had been there physically in my college to have a few words with me one-to-one as you're having. So we are having it through a video conferencing today. So this has become a norm. So not just the classes we did hold the examinations, the vivas, the webinars, career counseling webinars during the admission days for the new entrants, for the 12th class pass students, to make them understand, even during as certain final year examinations and as per the norms of Bar Council of India, the physical examinations, they happened, offline examinations in the campus. So with distancing, with preventive measures, with 100% social distancing, distribution of masks, gloves, and anything and everything that could have thought of, where we did put in sanitization tunnels, we did put sanitizers all across the college, etc., etc. We did work massively, like any force, and worked it out so effectively that all the examinations, they did happen in the right fashion, all offline asset for the final year students of our college, and for the law students of all the final students of who otherwise would have sat for the exams in May 2020, for them as well. And of course, all the online examinations, the vivas, and not to forget, how could have we remained, without that? That is the main motto of our college, internships and placements. We did organize online internships and placements, and were able to give 100% internships to our law students. It's still going on for our MCIT students, for the students hailing from commerce, BBA and BBA CAM and BCA, etc., etc. We did get internships, not just internships, placements also being done for all students in a massive way, and all being done through online. The companies themselves were also pretty supportive, who have been with us for years, and they were there. The new entrants also, a lot in the field of law, when we did interact with a very good number of companies, law firms, legal entities, etc., who did come in, and they selected our students who are working with them, who are the pass outs of 2021 this year itself, and they have already joined in those organizations and doing it very well that way. The students who passed out in 2020. So this is how it is, and the ones who would be passing out in 2021 we are working in a similar fashion for them, and are pretty sure of giving them also 100% placements. Of course, they're already have got internships through us. So this is how it is going with it. We have worked very, very effectively, and my congratulations to the management of the college once again. No two doubts about the same. Yeah.
Greatly said, sir. So now we head over to the question number 7, which is, what do you think should be the college's top priority over the next 10 years?
See, as you say that anything keeps changing with time. As you said that, very frankly speaking, if you really look at it, when the COVID came and we were absolutely, forced to remain in a lockdown state, there was no other option but to switch over to online teaching. Seminars became webinars, and all such changes happened. So for the next 10 years, I feel the coming 10 years are going to be a very, very crucial time, and a lot of changes would happen. And when these changes happen, we, as the senior functionaries of the college, should be very apt into, bringing those changes and adapting ourselves, and bringing such practices which, synchronize with those changes. Until unless we bring those changes adaptable to our working, we would be lost in the race. There would be a lot of, I feel so, changes in the curriculum of the courses, as we say that things are changing. The university that we are affiliated to, Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, I'm pretty sure, and they're working on it. Every year they come out with certain changes, and I feel so in the coming decade, there's going to be a lot of changes. The coming decade is going to be a decade of technology. And I feel so that the more the technology is taking over into anything and everything, but of course, it would never be able to take wholesome in totality. For example, teaching the real charm of teaching remains in physical teaching itself. The day offline teaching would be possible post this COVID times when the government feels it would be feasible. We would immediately switch over to physical offline teaching because that's the right way of teaching. So certain things can happen by being physically present into it, and the real taste of it, the real learning of it comes only then. So I feel the coming 10 years are going to be a period of change in a lot of things, including technology, including curriculums, including the complete thought process towards education, including a lot of, I would say, not accumulations, it is what is wherein, there would be a lot of associations happening of different courses being brought in together, etc., etc. Integration is the right word. There will be a lot of integrations happening in the coming years, and we, as a college management and senior functionaries, should be very, very particular towards already sitting, with our eyes and everything open, that okay, we should be ready to immediately get ourselves adapted to it. Only then we would be able to not just succeed but survive. And survival, as the Darwin's theory go, is that of the fittest. The better that you remain into those fittest levels itself, and for that you need adhering to the change is what is the need of the hour and would remain the need of the hour for the next 1 decade too. Yeah.
Very well said, sir. Now we head over to the question number 8, which is, what would you like people to know about your college they may not know?
Nice question, Mr. Udit. When it comes to your own college, you have thousands of things to say. But certain things which I would definitely like to, press upon here is, number one, the location of our college. To all the students who are hearing me, please understand, my dear students, whosoever wishes to join our college, please understand one thing. We are, of course, located at Narela, but do not bring any kind of a psychological impression at the back of your mind that it is too far off. It is not far off that way at all. We are very well connected to the metro, to the buses, the DTC buses, to the metro feeder services from Jahangirpuri metro station. And of course, we have our own college buses, which is covering the entire stretch of Delhi. Of course, the metro has already been planned and this is coming, and the COVID thing has delayed it further, but it's already been planned, and Narela is going to be a part of the proper metro networking itself. But till that time to happen, please, number one, have this thing very strong at the back of your mind, that to enjoy the beauty and the feel of studying at our college, this little distance is nothing, and it should not be mattering and should not be bothering you, as we are very well connected through all modes of transport. That's one thing which I would like to emphasize to all the students who wish to join our college. Number two, Mr. Udit, I would say, as I was just impressing upon while speaking, that what measures were being taken during the COVID times since March 2020 last year, I would say that two things we are very, very, very confident and very strong of is the placements and internships. And the placements and internships in our college, believe me, my dear students, it's one thing that I would say that, let me not say it that way, that any other college in IP University is doing it or not, but I know one thing, that we are doing it 100%. 100% placements to students with multiple job offers. This is what we have been doing consistently for the last few years. I would say from 2013 onwards, we are maintaining 100% placement record. So this is something which is the USP of our college for the law students as well as for the non-law students, the internships and the placements that we give. Thirdly, I would say a very, very conducive atmosphere of working. I, as Director General of the college, am absolutely approachable to any student and every student. Believe me, my dear students, and this is one thing which I would say, to have the taste of it, join us. You'd have the feel of it only once you are a part of it. A very lively atmosphere, a very friendly atmosphere of learning. And of course, we believe in overall development and working of the student. And this is something I would again say is where our college is having its another USP, where it's just not academics. We work on things in a wholesome package, and overall personality development is the main motto of our college for our students. Yeah. Yes, Udit.
Very well said, sir. The next question is, what do you see as CPJ College's greatest strengths?
I think this is what my last question's answer was. I would elaborate on that. The greatest strengths has been, number one, of course, bringing in an overall development to our students, not just academically, but an wholesome development, which includes, if you are a law student, it is not just it's the thing towards the learning your course or your books or your theoretical education, but of course, giving you a lot of exposure through moot court competitions, through debating skills, through interactive skills, through presentations, through drafting, etc., so that, the moment you walk out of the college, you are absolutely, a professional, a law professional, as you can call yourself. When it comes to the non-law students, it's again working in a complete, the working is such that it is, you look into bringing in an overall development in the student, in the personality of the student, with a lot of personality development programs happening for the students, a lot of exposures being given through guest lectures, in this industry interface, lecture programs, etc., participations in webinars, in what used to be the seminars earlier, workshops, a lot of workshops for IT students, for the non-IT management students. And it is like that, wherein the strength is towards bringing them in a very, very congenial atmosphere, where you have the support of your faculties, very friendly faculties who are every time ready to help you out in any situation that you are in, students. So with that kind of a feel, that kind of a friendly atmosphere, learning in the best possible way. So that is something which comes as a complete, I'm missing that word, Udit, as a, I'm not remembering that word, as it says now, ये complete होकर के आपके पास आता है. It comes as a, not able to get that word into my mind as now. So it comes as a, in totality, this is what I would say, that we give our students absolutely a learning along with, not just academics, but anything which is beyond academics too, so that they come out as an overall, grown people when it comes to their mental faculties, their knowledge, their wisdom, and they're able to, have a very strong belief in themselves the moment they walk out of the college. And this I can believe me, that this I can trust me, as the day a student joins our college in the first year, day one, which is the orientation program, and the day the student is leaving, say it's a farewell, there's such a drastic change in their personalities, in their thought process, in their complete viewpoints, outlook, etc., which the student themselves, they say, and of course it's visible, it's absolutely visible. So that is our USP, that is the most important strength, as I would say, Udit. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Next question. What are some of the biggest challenges you see, both for higher education in general, for CPJ College specifically?
See, if you really look at it, of course, CPJ College, we are a part and parcel to the higher education itself, since being a college imparting undergraduate courses. So in such a scenario, when I say what challenges the higher education is facing or would be facing, is number one, higher education in India needs to be very much compatible to the higher education world across. Tomorrow, our students are going to be ambassadors of India, not the physical, as I say, the official ambassadors to any embassy of India, as the ambassadors of India, as the citizen of India, whenever we would be going out or we'd be competing ourselves. Because frankly speaking, as things are happening, you would see to it, Mr. Udit, in the coming times, the competition would become, it would be a worldly competition. It's not just a competition would remain, say, just within the confines of one country itself. So for a person to really gain success in one's life, to be becoming absolutely knowledgeable in one's own field, it's very, very important that the higher education in India comes. It is already pretty good, I would say. Very, very good. I've traveled like anything in my life. I've seen a lot of places and countries, and I'm aware of the education systems there. And comparing, I would say definitely Indian education system is also one of the very good. I wouldn't say the best in the world, but definitely one of the real competition, education in worldwide, if you say to it. But remaining at parity with education worldwide is going to be a major focal point for higher education in India. And for CPJ as a college, also this would be remaining the thing, that the relevant courses to be taught. And of course, those courses, the university definitely would see to it, those courses should be giving the relevant curriculums to the student. And of course, having given the curriculums, how those curriculums are being, given to the students as learning, that becomes another point. So it should come as a composite feel to the student, that what they are gaining from the college, from the higher education that they would be getting, that should be the focus of our authorities, of our ministries, as I say in Delhi, the departments and the government authorities that overlook the education system in the country, in Delhi and all such places, to kind of work on it, to remain in parity with what are the demands and the need of the times, and change the curriculums and courses and different things which are relevant to the education industry in accordance. Yeah.
Greatly said, sir. Now we head over to the last question, which is, any suggestions you would like to give to the current youth and the aspiring students?
Definitely. I've always been doing so, Udit, in totality. I would say today's student, this is tomorrow's people. They are the ones who would be ruling tomorrow. And if we are in the right hands today, our tomorrow is much better and a secured tomorrow. So my only feel to the students of today is must learn as much as you can as of now. This is your period of learning. Whatever that you can accumulate academically, and the knowledge about your surroundings, about the world around you in totality, as much as you can put into your mind. Frankly speaking, this mind of ours is the brain, or you can say biological term. It's a computer by the God, which has infinite memory. You can feed as much as you wish to. So as you students, as you would feel that tomorrow, if you buy even the most advanced computer, it will have a limit of its memory, that how much you can feed into it. Otherwise, you'll have to upgrade it, etc., etc. Only then, once upgraded, you can put something more. Otherwise, there'll come a time when nothing more can be fed into it. Not your brain. You can feed as much knowledge, as much information, as much as you want. So this is the time for you to do that, because in future, you would keep extracting that only for implementation, And this is where your, complete, I would say, foundation lie towards your success for tomorrow. I would just take an example of any leading cricketer like, say, Virat Kohli today. Students, you would be able to relate to it. So when Virat Kohli was a part of any academy, when he was being coached as a young boy, when he was a student of cricket, say, there were so many other students also who would have been learning cricket along with him. Why didn't they become what Virat became? It's because during that period of his learning, he was so particular about learning each and every facet of what was being taught to him. He took it so seriously. He brought each and everything into the back of his mind. And when everything which was being taught got into him, and when he went onto the field to bat, he brought everything what was at the back of his mind during that, when he started implementing it, what he had learned. So, my dear students, this is the phase of your learning. As of now, learn as much as possible. Take your education seriously, because tomorrow, whatever that you would be doing would be a resultant of what you have learned academically and otherwise. So that's my word. Take things around you seriously and take it in the right spirit to taste the real success and what you wish to be in your lives.
It was great interacting with you, sir. Thank you so much for giving insights on the education sector and specifically for the CPJ College Narela. Thank you so much again for being a part of our initiative, Thoughts on the Education.
Thank you so much, Udit. It's been my pleasure, and it's always a pleasure to interact and, of course, speak about the education industry, and, of course, to speak about my dear college, my own college, CPJ College of Higher Studies and School of Law. Thank you so much, Udit.